Welcome back. We're here to look ahead to the first game of the new Premier League season between Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur on Saturday lunchtime. Matt, as a United fan, what do you make of their overall summer business? Big names, Di Maria, Van Persie, Falcao gone, but plenty of new signings as well.
Yeah, plenty of new signings. I think there needed to be as well, didn't there? Well, obviously, like you mentioned, Di Maria's on his way out, Van Persie's gone, Falcao's gone. I mean, last season there was so much made of the forward-thinking players they had in the team, but centre-back's the main one. Still haven't signed a centre-back, which for me is incredible. Pursuing Ramos, Otamendi's the obvious one for me. How they've not gone in for him is incredible. But Darmian's coming at right back, had a great pre-season, looking really good, looking like he'll start the season, start this game. And like you mentioned, midfield, Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin coming in, massive signings. Two classy players in there who will undoubtedly improve the team. Depay going forward, Memphis Depay as well. He's got so much ability. He got a nice pre-season, scored a goal as well, got off the mark and looked really good. Sort of played the 10 role to the left and then the 10 with Rooney, just behind Rooney, and the goalkeeper as well, Romero, coming, experienced goalkeeper. Don't know what's happening with De Gea. But overall, positive, but I think there's still Pedro as well as another one. That'd be a massive signing. But for me, still Pedro and a centre-back short of being a good window.
I think you look at their team, he's going to have a hard job keeping the midfielders happy, isn't he? Because I think he's probably going to have to play two of Carrick, Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin, two of those three. But then, the other players he's got there, Mata, Herrera, the two Spaniards, both very classy players, but he can probably only play one of those in that system unless he pushes, say, Mata further forward on the right. Say if Pedro doesn't come in, he could play Mata out there, but then if he plays Memphis on the left, Mata on the right, it could become very narrow very quickly, unless the fullbacks will get forward, Shaw and Darmian, and even if it's Valencia down the right, they're very forward-thinking fullbacks, so, they certainly get width that way, but it could become quite congested in the middle, and I think, talk about Rooney, I think it's a massive season for him. He's lost, Van Persie and Falcao, two very well-established strikers, both gone now, and I think it's a massive season for Rooney. Last year he played in all kinds of positions, often dropping into midfield, to help out in there, but this season, he knows he's going to be that main striker up there, and he has had fantastic seasons when he's been allowed to play there, and I think it is a huge season for him, and I think if he gets off to a decent start, stays injury-free, I think he's got a real shot of being the top scorer in the whole league.
Yeah, I think if United are going to push for the title, that needs to happen, doesn't it, with Rooney up there? It doesn't look like they're going to sign another striker, but saying that Pedro's a goal threat, Depay scored goals last season, no reason why he can't do that. Big season for United, like I say, fourth last season, managed to squeeze into the top four, which was sort of the remit start of the season for Van Gaal. The least that was expected, really, but 17 points off Chelsea, that's a massive gap. 9 points off Man City, 5th off Arsenal. It looked like they might nick third at the end of the season, but drew with Arsenal, and then Arsenal won their last game. United drew a whole last game, so 5 points seems probably a bit bigger gap, than it was. But finishing top four, it was okay, but this season it needs to be more than that. They can't finish fourth again. They need to push for the title. If that means finishing second, then that's okay, as long as they make a better challenge of it, not 17 points off.
So you're quite confident they'll finish in the top four. Where do you think they'll finish?
Yeah, I think they will finish second. It's an interesting one because I think City will finish fourth, and then I really don't know. The top three could be any. I think it's going to be really tight. Arsenal have got a shout winning the title. There's no doubt about that. Chelsea, obviously. I'm not too sure. Chelsea could easily finish third. Arsenal top, United second, something like that. But I think United will finish second. Yes.
I think it certainly could be one of the closest title races in recent memory. All those three teams you mentioned, I think City should still be there. If they're at full strength, they've got the best striker in the league in Aguero. Sterling, I think they've overpaid for him, but he's only 20 and young talent certainly. But I think Spurs, they're not going to be ever part of this title debate. I don't think they're not there, are they? Last season they managed to get that 5th place, but Southampton, Liverpool, they were fairly evenly matched all season. I thought Southampton were better than Spurs for the most part. In the end, Spurs managed to get 5th, but those three teams could have finished in any order if you ask me. And you look at the signings that Spurs have done this summer. It's just defence where they've strengthened really. I think Alderweireld, he's a decent player for them. Did really well at Southampton last year. Southampton had the best defence in the league for long periods of last season, and he's chosen to go to Spurs. Southampton weren't too happy about it, but in the end, it was his decision. I think he fancied London. Spurs, traditionally a bit of a bigger club than Southampton, so made that move elsewhere. Wimmer, he's come in. I think he's going to probably be more one for the cups and Europe. It's juggling Europe is always quite difficult, so he'll probably play more in the European games. And Trippier is the other one. Taking a bit of a gamble on him. Burnley last year, it was hard for him at Burnley last year. He was brilliant in the Championship the year before, but last season playing for a team in Burnley who were really struggling, and I think if he's around better players, he's fantastic going forward. He's got a great cross on him, and it'd be interesting to see who Pochettino picks in that position, because he's got Trippier, Walker, Dyer, three English right backs there who all could make a case for it. Walker struggled with injury in recent years, but I think at the moment he should go for Trippier. Very good player, and I think still got youth on his side as well. So I think Trippier for me at right back.
He had plenty of assists in this season. Burnley came up from the Championship, very good, sort of getting the ball in the box. I think it'll be important for Kane, wouldn't it, to have someone who can put the ball in the box. Kane obviously last season won his team 24 points more than any player in the league. That shows how important he is. But Spurs are crying out for another striker. Soldado looks like he's going back to Villarreal. Adebayor is off to Villa, it looks like, or at least off somewhere. Apart from that, they haven't got a senior player in there. I mean, you looked at their squad that played against MLS, and it was just Kane obviously got the goal, and they lost that game 2-1. But they're just crying out for a striker. Strange one for Spurs. They played 2 midweek friendlies before this game in 2 tough ones as well, against Real Madrid and AC Milan in the Audi Cup over in Munich. And to do that at this stage of the season, when you look at every other Premier League, so I think everyone else has got a free week apart from Chelsea who have played. But strange one for me. But yeah, Spurs, like I mentioned, finishing 5th last season, need to make a push for that top 4. Can they do it? I'm not sure. Probably 5th, 6th, 7th again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be sort of same again. I think of the sort of those 3 sides. I mean, if Southampton can keep it up again, you'd probably expect Everton to do a bit better this season. But yeah, I think Liverpool of those 3 sides are probably the best equipped to, if they can make a challenge. But for me, if anything, the top 4 looks stronger and further away from those teams than it did last season. So I think for Spurs, they're going to try and get into those 5, 6, 7, one of those places again. But I think it'll be quite a tough season for them, especially if they don't sign a striker. And Kane, if he's not as good as last season, then they're in real trouble, I think. But it's a big game certainly to start the Premier League. A bit of a blockbuster fixture. 2 big teams in the league. What's your score prediction?
I think you have to fancy United. Yeah, last season Spurs got well beat last season at Old Trafford. During that period where United were really playing well, but Spurs 1-2 in the last 3. I mean, remember the game where Bale ran through absolute blitz Rio Ferdinand and scored a goal. And they've done all right recently, but history will tell you that they've lost on 18 in the last 23 visits to Old Trafford, so they're going as underdogs, and I think they'll get beat. I think United will win this 2-0.
I think you have to fancy United as well for sure. I think last season they lost against Swansea on the opening day, but that was a bit of a blip. Over the whole season, when you look at their home form, they were very strong at home last season. I think the vibe at the club seems pretty good at the moment. They've signed good, exciting players, and I'm going to pick them to win 3-1. So both picking United to win this one by 2 goals. Thanks for watching.